as you know, you are moving through your seasonal calendar. And as you move through spring, many of you are moving through the celebrations that pertain to that of Easter and this notion of a resurrection, this notion of a spiritual elevation, which of course comes from an increasing of one's frequency, of one's vibratory nature. Do keep in mind that the story of the resurrection is all about the following: the densifying of one's energy field, the extending of one's connection deep into the inner earth domains, deep into those subconscious dimensions of self, because it's in those realms of inner darkness, it's in those realms of deep subconscious awareness that the secret light, the occult light, is discovered, is revealed within the self. And then once an individual has really taken that light in, once they have really identified with that light and synchronized with that light, it's as if they are able to ride the lightning upwardly from that lower dimensional perspective up into a higher dimensional vantage point. So when you go into those inner meditational spaces, when you allow for the stillness to reveal the dynamic movements of the occult light, you then come to realize that all things are made of light. All beings are really beings of light. All expressions are truly expressions of light. And this then reveals the enlightened viewpoint, the higher viewpoint. This higher viewpoint, this enlightened viewpoint, it is an eternally expansive viewpoint. Whenever you have a realization, you will find that there has been a type of resurrection, and that resurrection process produces an enlightenment. It produces a realization. So these types of phenomenon go hand in hand. The raising of one's frequency, the realizing of a new point of view. These two expressions feed into that experience that you call the experience of enlightenment. You will be experiencing greater dimensions of this within your internal space and your external space. In terms of the internal space, it's going to be as if more of that inner light shines. The deeper you go into stillness, the deeper you go into silence, the more of that occult phenomenon you will begin to perceive. And as that inner reality becomes more expansive, you'll see that the outer reality becomes increasingly more expansive as well. You're going to find there's new dimensions to the physical reality that you did not notice, new characteristics, new qualities, things you had overlooked, things you had glossed or glazed over. All of that's going to start to stand out. You're going to find there's new qualities within people, new qualities within your relationships that previous you may have had no knowledge of. All of these things and more will start to stand out. All of these things and more will become incredibly obvious. If there's certain challenges externally that you have found yourself facing again and again and again, that have seemed to stump you or have seemed to block you at times, you will find these challenges. You see naturally how to navigate through them. That's a part of that inner realization producing an outer effect. So how you see the outer reality will start to change. The quality of information that you pick up on and notice, this will start to change. So it is that inner process that eventually yields a collective outer effect. This is the type of background effect that is being energetically strengthened for your people at this time. Eventually, these two worlds will blend together, the inner space and the outer space. And this will be a very powerful, powerful moment, because this will be a moment where consciousness itself will have a very potent and defining influence as to what happens in reality. Many of you would say that it is your mind, the mental projections of your mind, that has the dominant influence in physical reality, and that all things are sort of built upon the dreams and the scaffolding of the subconscious. Other people would say, well, physicality and the physical body, the earth element, is sort of the top determiner of what happens here in physical reality, because things are built by people with their hands, and people take physical actions to produce physical effects. Some people would say, well, it's more so emotions and the element of water that really influences what happens here. People feel some kind of inspiration or motivation, they take action on it. In the times to come, it will be consciousness that has the strongest impact, the strongest influence in terms of what occurs within physical reality. So many of you are used to the other elemental expressions having a stronger level of influence within the creational experience of physical reality. But in the times to come, and the times that you're moving into now, as you approach this year of 2027, the number one creational effect will shift to that of consciousness. This is very similar to what you would describe as the spirit element, but it is this level of experience and expression that you taste, that you touch, that you feel, that you sense when you have that increase in perspective and you have that realization that produces the aha moment. It's that energy from that moment that most greatly reflects that spirit element. It's like the energy that is produced when the light first shines into a window, into a room, once a curtain has been moved. It is like that effect, the freshness of the first luminosity. This is the kind of energy that will have a stronger creational effect. So ideas, motivations, dreams that are born from that level, they will be the forces that begin to crystallize within the matrix of experience. And we share these with you so you can begin to focus on such possibilities and such realities as you navigate your lives. So you can bring yourselves and others in your life, those whom you are in relationships with, into higher dimensions and higher expressions of experience. Because as that enlightened view becomes more and more stable, and as progressively more and more and more enlightened actions are taken, humanity becomes more and more and more like these higher dimensional beings. And you're able to achieve greater iterations, greater experiences, greater expressions of contact.